Well, thank you, Megan, for coming and taking time out of your busy day. I really appreciate you talking to me. I know a lot of my clients are first-time moms, second-time moms, third-time moms, and breastfeeding is always a struggle. I get lots of questions, I hear lots of good things, bad things, and everything in between. And I'm always being asked for recommendations of people that they can go to for help and assistance. And so I really thought that a lot of my clientele would really benefit just from listening to you, learning about you, and then hopefully coming and finding you and getting some of your services.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. Like, I feel like anyone who's working with like pregnant and then fresh postpartum moms are directly seeing the breastfeeding and like the feeding struggles or like what's going good. But yeah, you're like at the forefront. So I'm sure you do have a lot of clients
I
asking
do.
for advice,
Yep.
all the things.
And it's huge because usually if baby's not eating, baby's not sleeping. And if mom's not sleeping, it's a lot harder for me to get them where they want to get if they're not feeling either. So this is a huge component. And I am big into multifactorial, meaning I am not the only one that can get them where they need to be. They need help from everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
So kind of tell me your story about how you became the milk lady.
Yeah, so I'm the milk lady, but like anyone who is a mom or like a caregiver for like a baby or an infant is the milk lady. And so I thought really in depth about my name before I started my business because I don't always work with parents who are using breast milk. And so it was just important that I chose a name that was really inclusive. And even aside from breast milk, even if they are using breast milk, not all of my families are necessarily nursing from the breast. And so, anyways, the milk lady is very inclusive. And so that's my name. That's everyone who is my client. We're all milk ladies. So that's the backstory on my name. It starts with an M. My name's Megan Macy. So I figured like all the M's is just made sense. But as far as my story goes, I am a mom to two under three. So I have a 3-year-old little boy and a 1.5-year-old little girl. I had my son at home June of 2019 with some local midwives. I've always been very kind of like natural or like holistic minded. And so I was very confident going into my home birth with him, and it was just kind of no question in my mind that we would breastfeed. It's just what we were going to do, like no questions asked. And so I didn't really plan for it though, because I thought it was just natural. I just thought a baby, a boob,
Right? It should
it
be
seems
easy,
pretty
right?
simple, right?
Uh,
And I had a very humbling experience with my son after, he was born at home and it was this beautiful experience. He could not latch. And I just didn't know what to do with him not latching. And I didn't really have like the best support, I would say, in what to do when your baby can't latch in those first couple days after birth. So I was kind of just like winging it. And then it was a hard time. I did actually get some support, some lactation support, and we were still having a lot of problems. And so he had tongue tie, which we ended up going in and getting that evaluated with a pediatric dentist on day 5. Because we were just having such a hard time. We had to bring in a bit of a formula supplement because I just didn't have enough milk for his needs. He was so hungry and fussy. I was feeling like a failure because it's something I wanted to do and I just thought it would come naturally. So it was a very stressful situation. Long story short, basically, we figured it out. I ended up exclusively nursing him until he was 14 months old.
oh, wow.
Yeah, and so Yeah, and we ended up working it out and everything was okay. We did have to use a little bit of formula and it was really hard. We did have to deal with ties. And so it just really opened my eyes to realize there's so much more to this. Um,
Yep.
than people talk about. And it shouldn't be moms who just had a baby who are having to learn about these things, because then I started asking everyone about what's the right thing to do about this tongue tie situation. I don't want to hurt my baby, but I'm in pain. My nipples were like so messed up. And everyone was kind of like, you just need to research it yourself, which I understand. But I feel like in that kind of like brain of just having a baby 3 days ago, I just wanted someone to like at least facilitate a conversation with me and give me the resources to look instead of be like, well, just Google it.
Right.
I
'Cause there's a lot on Google and not all is good.
Right. And so anyways, my son really inspired me to help other moms. So I was just like kind of peer counseling local moms just through social media for basically the first year of his life while I was trying to decide how to become an IBCLC. So an international board certified lactation consultant. So this is kind of the top tier of lactation specialists, which I think was in your questions that you were going
Yep,
to ask me anyways. So,
exactly.
um, so that's kind of the top tier is an IBCLC, and so this is someone that has 14 health science courses, and then they also have 90 hours of lactation specific education, and then they also have 500 hours of in-person lactation um, support with another IBCLC.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is definitely top tier. And so
Yeah,
I was like, how can I do this? I'm not a nurse. A lot of the time, someone who's already like a nurse or a midwife, someone like that, can usually just go and get those 90 hours of lactation education and then the 500 hours of shadowing. But I was like a new mom. I was a stay-at-home mom nonetheless, and so I have no health science courses, not 14 of them, that's for sure. So I started like looking around at how I could get my foot in the door to start helping moms to see if this is something that I do want to do as a career. And so I learned that there are all of these like lower tiered lactation specialists that are still so useful and supportive to moms. So I learned about certified breastfeeding specialist, a CBS. There's certified lactation educators, CLEs. There's certified lactation counselors, CLCs, which is me. And so these kind of like lower tiered lactation specialists have anywhere between 45 to the 90 hours of lactation education. And then as far as their experience working with moms, it actually really varies.
mhm,
So I've met a lot of CLCs who only work virtually, or maybe they only work for like a WIC office or like an OBGYN or something like that.
right.
And then me, I have a private practice. So I have my own LLC and I do out of network. So I don't accept insurance, but I do accept payment plans. And I have made myself really affordable because I
What
do
are
want
your what are your rates? And, like, what does that entail?
Yeah, so I have so many different services.
Okay,
So I really specialize in in-home care because I think that it's really unrealistic to have postpartum moms traveling somewhere to learn how to feed their newborn baby. I just really feel like their home smells familiar to the baby. It feels familiar. The mom is relaxed. The lighting is comfortable to them. It's something that they're used to. So there's no noises or smells or things that are distracting to a newborn baby. And a newborn mom,
right.
even if it's her second or third baby, she's still trying to learn this new baby and their
Correct.
cues and everything. Um,
And it's hard to
and
get out of the house. Like,
yeah,
I
it's just hard. You're bleeding and lactating, like
right.
you should be at home. So
That's so nice you offer that.
yeah. So I just remember with my experience, there's no way I was going to like get out of the house 2 or 3 days after I had the baby. So for my in-home support, I offer just one-on-one visits. So it's $120 for an initial visit. You get access to a secure client portal. So you fill out kind of all of your medical history that you want to disclose to me, how the birth went, how baby's health is, kind of how breastfeeding's going, how long you plan to breastfeed, the reason for the consult. So I get kind of a rundown before I come to your house.
Mhm.
And then I come to your house and I bring my scale. I bring gloves. I bring a stethoscope, which is not to listen to baby's heart, but to actually listen for the suck and swallow pattern. Um, so I bring all these little tools. I have something to help size mom for flange. A lot of moms I find are using flanges that are too big.
Yeah.
Um, so if mom's doing a lot of pumping or even not a lot of pumping, it's just important to have a good proper size flange. So I always make sure to size moms in
Do you
my
have
visit.
recommendations on breast pumps?
Yeah, so and that's it, that's the thing too is it really depends on mom's lifestyle.
Mhm.
There's so many kinds of breast pumps and um every mom has a different goal, a different feeding plan. And so I have a lot of different recommendations depending on mom,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. You tailor it specifically to them.
Yes. So everything is very tailored to the mom. I don't believe breastfeeding is really black and white, XYZ.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to get to know a mom and her medical history to really talk to her about all of her options so that way she can make her own informed decisions. Um, I just think that moms really deserve to be having bigger, longer conversations
Yeah.
and they should be aware of like all their options and not everything has to be like so rigid. I think a lot
Right.
of moms are so nervous that if they mess up or choose something or try something for a few days that they can't like go back. So yeah, I just really try to hold space for moms to know that they can kind of explore their feeding journey and I'll be there to help support them and give them evidence-based advice as they go on. So
Yeah.
my first in-home visit is usually around 2 hours.
Okay. Now, do you try to set it up with mom that like baby's awake, or does that matter? Do you just work with what you have?
Yeah, so if baby is a fresh newborn within the first 2 weeks, newborns almost never will decline an opportunity to nurse. So, and that's another thing I really try to instill in moms is we don't need to like have this rigid 2-hour schedule.
Mhm.
It's so beneficial to be practicing and following baby's cues if they are signaling in between that 2-hour mark and avoiding pacifiers or other ways of comforting baby that are not with the breast. Really learning your baby, and it's so beneficial for our milk supply in those first 2 weeks to nurse as much as baby wants. And so when people ask me, should I time my feed for you to get here? Um,
Right.
no, not unless the baby's older and there's more of a specific reason. But if it's a very fresh newborn, nope, just wait for me to get there. And also, I like to really talk to mom, look through her history. I have her tell me her birth story if she would like, and kind of how the first like 2 hours and first day went after baby was born. Because that really gives me a good idea of kind of where we're at now. So during this time, I don't want baby fussing or crying. I don't want to like rush into the door and try to get baby latched before I've even like sat down and like talked to her. So yeah, I just tell her feed the baby, make sure they're comfy. It's okay if they're sleeping when I get there. We're gonna do some talking before we get into feeding and assessing the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then usually after a diaper change and putting them on the scale after we have chatted, they are ready to nurse after that.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So in the home, do you suggest dad be there, or does it matter?
I love it when the dad is there. Again, the postpartum fog, um, We are just not in our same brain right after we have baby. And so even when we're trying to learn and listen to someone, we're so in tune with our baby that it's like the way I describe it is it's like our hair is being pulled by the stars. We're just like not really on earth. And
Yeah.
so it's really good to have dad or best friend, mom, sister, helper, whoever is kind of around, if dad's not able to be there, just someone that you're familiar with being there, like a spotter, because then
Yeah.
when I leave, they're like, hey, remember the lactation lady said that the baby's belly button needs to be towards your belly button, not towards the ceiling. And then she's like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that. So
Right.
everyone needs a spotter.
I like it. I like that thought. And I know a lot of the times dad, partner, kind of feeling left out and doesn't know how to help. So that's nice that you can include them and give them something to help.
Yeah. And so aside from my in-home visits, I really try to reach people in our community prenatally. I feel like that's where my gap was, is I got all of this birth education for my home birth, and I felt so prepared for like the birth. And then the feeding aspect, I'm like, why did nobody tell me I should learn more about this? So that's really my goal with Milk Lady, is to reach people prenatally. So my breastfeeding group classes are once a month in Spokane and also once a month in Coeur d'Alene. And they are a group setting for pregnant parents. First time, second time, third time. I just had a fifth time mama in my last class, and I
That's
thought that was
awesome.
really awesome that she came with her husband. And so this is really something that I want moms to have access to, because if they can get the education prenatally, they honestly might not even need my support. And if they do need my support, they've already met me in class. We've played
Yep.
some games, we've joked around, maybe we had a little chat at the end of class. So then, 2, 3 days later, or oh, few months later after they have their baby, they kind of feel comfortable to reach out to me, and know that I'll come to their house to help them.
That is nice. Physical therapy is very similar. I try to reach them prenatally, get them nice and strong and comfortable with me. So that way, if they have to come back, if something goes wrong, they, feel comfortable reaching out and asking those questions.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. What about, you were talking earlier about different services that you offer. What are some of the services besides the classes prenatally, the in-home visit when you are struggling?
Yeah. So I also do office visits. So I have a little like clinic. It's a very simple space at a chiropractic office at Generations Chiropractic up north on Highway 2. So I have that space open on Wednesdays for people who maybe don't want me to visit in their home. It's also a little bit more affordable to meet me there. But like I said, I probably only go there a few times a month. Most of my clients are like, it is worth it for you to just come to me.
Definitely.
But I wanted the space available because there are people who might not want me to go to their house, and I still
Yeah.
want to be available to them. And then, so I also have packages. So some of my packages include that prenatal breastfeeding class, but it also includes like a follow up with me. So that way we kind of just stay in touch when you get home from the hospital or after you've had the baby. And you can just expect and know that I'll be following up with you. And a lot of parents use that follow up in between when they get discharged from the hospital and they weighed baby, and in between going back for that kind of checkup, sometimes a few days later. So sometimes I'll come in around day 3 or 4 and get like a weight to know if baby's up or down since leaving the hospital.
Gotcha. And I
Yeah.
feel too, I was like you, I kind of struggled with my first one. I thought, this is normal, this is natural, this should be easy. And it's not. And so, and you don't realize that you're struggling until day 3, day 4, because you're already out of the hospital. So I remember the nurse coming in and asking me, any questions, any concerns? And I'm like, no, no, things are going great. Well, they were until they weren't.
Right. And so as an example, kind of what you're saying, so I'm also a postpartum doula. So that's also some of
Nice.
the services that I offer, since I guess that kind of flows into our
Yes.
conversation. I found that as I was doing lactation visits, a lot of my clients were asking me about sleep, baby wearing. They're like, hey, I have this baby wrap. I don't know how to use it, how to bathe baby, all these things. And I was like staying longer and doing more than just a lactation counselor. And so a lot of my close friends and family were like, you're really more aligned with postpartum doula work. You should just dive into it. And so I did. It's been awesome. It definitely aligns with me. I love being able to do more than just the lactation aspect. So, as an example, yesterday I was doing some postpartum doula hours for a family. And so she had had some previous breastfeeding struggles with her first two babies. So she hired me this time. And as I was sitting there and we were weighing baby and working on latch and talking about everything going on, the hospital called to check on her, and they asked about baby's poop and how often is the baby waking up, all the things that I'm sitting there on the couch with her actually talking about, cooing over this gorgeous new baby.
Yeah.
Um, and, she kind of was like, yeah, we're good, like, whatever. And then when we got off the phone, it was like, she said, what if things were not going good? What if I was struggling? What is this lady going to do on the phone when I tell her if it wasn't going good?
Right.
And so it was really special to be sitting there on the couch with her and to, be helping her with feeding, and baby pooped while I was there. So we talked all about the color and the amount and all these things that, yes, this person on the phone is like trying to be helpful,
Right.
but I know that moms need more. And so yeah, that's kind of the postpartum doula. I did her dishes before her husband got home from a big Costco trip. And then I got, everything cleaned up while everyone took a nap, and then I headed out. So
I think
aside
that's
from
great.
breastfeeding, I just do a little bit of postpartum doula work as well.
Which I agree that just flows so nice. And yeah, postpartum doula. I'm a fan of doulas in general. Um, I have two little boys, and with my second one, I got a doula, and I feel it made all the world of difference. I was much more relaxed. It was great when they came and visited me in that first week post delivery, and it was nice because that postpartum fog you're talking about, it was real. And one of the big things that I hold near and dear to my heart is that they provided me with like my birth story. And
Yes.
there were things that I didn't even remember, and it happened to me. So it was really sweet.
It is, and I think people worry that maybe, a birth or postpartum doula, is maybe, like, somehow replacing the husband or the birth partner, and I think it's really just an extra person on the team to support you and your birth partner, because usually they want to help, but they're not like a birth pro, you
Right.
know? They don't really know all about this. So having that person that really understands birth and postpartum, you know, it's like your birth and postpartum bestie.
Yes. I love it. I love it. So do you have normal business hours, or do you just kind of work with what your clients need?
I just work around what my clients need, and then I'm a stay-at-home mom besides Milk Lady. And so I kind of base my schedule around my husband's schedule, and he's so amazing and supportive of my dream and helping moms and babies in the community. So yeah, I do have a website that has like set hours, but once you book a package with me, we kind of are just texting, and we're really on like a different kind of a basis. But as
Yeah.
far as booking like a one-on-one in-home visit with me, you can go on my website, and I do have set hours where you can go and pick your time and date and fill it all out, and I will send you a little email with your client portal, and then I will show up on the day that you chose.
Nice. And what is that website?
So that's the milklady.net.
Okay. And then is that the best way to get a hold of you for first time contact, and or what is the best way for all my clients to reach out to you?
Yeah, so emailing contact@themilklady.net, or just visiting themilklady.net and submitting the contact form. I do have, like I said, for my prenatal breastfeeding classes and my in home visits, you can just go right on there and just book it yourself, um,
Okay.
and make it super easy. And I have free moms groups twice a month. I do one in Spokane at the Upper Manitou Playground, and that's totally free. And then I do another one at Atlas Mill Park on the last Sunday of every month. It's in Coeur d'Alene. And like I said, Milk Lady is anyone. So regardless of how moms are feeding, they're welcome to come to the Milk Lady meetup and just let the kids play and sit in the grass and yeah, just support
Oh,
each other.
that's awesome. Gosh, you covered almost everything and just even in just your story and how things came out. Um, is there any common problems that you see or a common um, question you find moms are coming to you with?
Yes, I would say the number one thing is people are saying the baby wants to eat more than every 2 hours. The hospital said every 2 hours. The midwife said every 2 hours. The Google says every 2 hours. What's wrong? And nothing's wrong. And this is where I feel like, the prenatal education really comes in. And what the 2 hour mark really means is like that's kind of your max capacity, but it's really normal and okay for a brand new baby to want to nurse more than that. And it's so beneficial for our milk supply. So if we have realistic expectations going into it, we're not as like shocked and we're worried that things are going wrong. So if we have realistic expectations, I feel like that really helps us. So that's probably a big issue that I see. And then also a lot of contradicting advice. So I see moms who are like, my pediatrician says this, my friend says
Yeah,
this, Google says this, the lactation lady said this, and
yeah,
my chiropractor said this, and I just don't know what to do. And
yeah,
so um, ha- and so it's people want to be helpful, but I think that sometimes there's so much advice that moms just kind of shut down
yep.
because they just don't know what's right. And so I really try to be very open. And like I said, my treatment plans are very dependent on the conversations that I have with moms.
Mhm.
It's just not black and white.
That's great. I agree. The body, everybody's different and everybody has to be treated different. So I love your philosophy and just how you're going about everything in your business. It's wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
That's pretty much everything I had. I do want you to throw out your social media handles though as well, so people can find you on. I think you're on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, so I am on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and then I'm also on the Peanut app. So
Ooh,
Peanut app is like Tinder for moms.
nice.
So it's to meet mom friends, and so it's all over the world. You can meet women, who are into the same things that you are. There's also live podcasts on there that are held by Peanut Pros.
Mhm.
I'm a Peanut Pro. There's like mental health therapists, sex therapists, like all different teachers, all different kinds of like mom related people on there. And it's a free app. You can just go on there and listen to these amazing people just talk about health and wellness and motherhood. And you can actually ask questions. So people can interact with me um, on Peanut. So they can like tip me a couple dollars to just ask me a couple questions live on my podcast if
Yeah.
they're not really wanting to book a virtual consultation with me or an in-person consultation. So the Peanut app is another place you can interact with me. So at the Milk Lady LC on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Yeah, TikTok is for some reason I'm a lot more like popular over there than on Instagram. I don't know how it all works.
It's so weird. I don't get it either, but I like watching all the stories that you post. They're super helpful. They're very informative. They're very lighthearted too, which is nice because usually people are very stressed when it comes to feeding babies.
Yes, I try to maintain a very lighthearted demeanor at all times because it is a very, very sensitive time. And even with my second, I got my certification while I was pregnant with her, and I thought, I know everything. I've got all the tools. I'm going to be such a good breastfeeder this time. We've got this. And it was still so hard, and I struggled really bad with postpartum anxiety there for a little bit. So we overcame our struggles again, and she is 16 months old, and we're still exclusively nursing.
Oh,
Um, so it kind of, it kind of happened again to me, but I guess it's part of my story. But it really gives me empathy for my clients.
that's wonderful. Yes, I appreciate everything you do and everything you're giving to this area. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well, what you're doing is so important too, because I'm often giving my clients resources. And when I bring up pelvic health and pelvic therapy, people are like, what?
I know it's still kind of new to the area.
And no, but the thing is I'm hearing a lot of birth stories and people are telling me some signs or symptoms and things that they're having. And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you should go talk to a pelvic health specialist because it doesn't have to be like that.
Yep. Good. I'm glad you're getting that out there too, because that's my motto is you don't have to live with it.
Yes. So many people don't even know a lactation specialist is a thing. And so people don't know that you're a thing. And so moms need to know about all the things.
Yep. So no, I think this is wonderful and I can see us collaborating in the future. We both want to just educate our community the best we can. And I think it's great. And I thank you for that.
Yeah, let me know if you ever wanna, like, grab a coffee or, like, you have 2 littles, if you ever wanna link up and go to the park or something,
Yeah, I want to get
I would
in
love
on that
to.
group.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking your time with me. And um, Kyle, you could probably cut off here. But I will have to exchange numbers with you, and I would love to do more collaboration. Um,
Yeah.
I have my neighbors right next door in my suite. I'm right next to Suite Repeat, which is a
I was just there the other day.
yeah. So you know exactly what it is. And so I
Cool.
would like to kind of bring her in and let people know like all of her services that she has to offer. And then clinical exercises right next door to me too now. And they are kind of the bridge between where physical therapy has to end because of insurance, but
Okay.
and then getting forward. And so they're very well trained exercise specialists, essentially. They're not just your run of the mill personal trainers. They have bachelor's degrees. It's pretty impressive what they do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, Megan. Well, thank you so much again for taking the time to explain what you do for us and the community. And I want you to leave kind of your last piece of advice that you have for moms, and then also let everybody know where they can find you and the best contact for you is.
Yeah, definitely. So I think my biggest piece of advice for moms is to take a big deep breath and take it one latch or one feed at a time and reach out for support if you are struggling. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Peanut. It's at the Milk Lady LC. Or you can book with me on my website, themilklady.net.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was so good to meet you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Yes, I'll reach out to you soon.
Okay,
All right. Bye.
bye.